Hello everyone! I wanted to talk to you today about my experience with watercolor. I started teaching myself watercolor about 3 years ago. Prior to that, I very briefly tried a few other mediums. However, I quickly realized that what I enjoyed was playing with color and not fussing too much with drawing. So I tried coloring books, but I was still not satisfied. The last art class I'd taken was in 6th grade. In primary and secondary school, I went to music school, so that was my official artistic outlet. Growing up, I was into performance art, from playing piano and clarinet to theater and choir. I did not go into an artistic field. I'm an information professional. I have a master's in library and information sciences, and I work in university development. I enjoy what I do, but I sometimes am wary about this mildly obsessive streak I get. When I'm curious, I tend to focus on something like a dog on a bone and research it, dissect it, compile as much information on it as I can. But ultimately, I need to do it and not just observe. I've done embroidery, crochet, beading, metalwork, but my true artistic medium and love is writing. Not poetry, not fiction, prose. I won't get into it, and no, I won't share. Most of it is in French in any case. The reason I am sharing that particular tidbit is because the last few years I've had difficulty writing, so I wanted to try another medium, see if that would get my creative juices flowing. With that in mind, a little under 3 years ago, I went to a Mer de Serre, an art store chain in Quebec, and on impulse, I bought a tube set of Van Gogh watercolors that were on special. It's probably the best decision I've ever made impulsively in a store. I bought a couple of cheap brushes and cheap watercolor paper, got home extremely excited, and then I did not touch any of the material for at least a few weeks. I don't know why I was scared, but finally when I tried it, I loved how the water and paint would spread on the paper. I preferred it to the choppy, dry feel you get with acrylic. I loved how cleaner it was than pastels and how it felt less tedious than markers and pencils when it came to filling large areas. So I started doing a lot of swatches and swatches and swatches, mostly because I had no idea what to draw, nor did I trust my drawing skills. I started binging YouTube videos, learning about pigments, paper, brushes, brands, techniques, anything I could find. For a year, I read and watched more videos on watercolor than I would recommend anyone watch. Yet, I barely painted, which is what I would actually recommend if you're learning a new medium. 2 years ago, realizing I had more paint tubes than common sense, I committed myself to take learning seriously. I wanted to learn how to watercolor and not learn about watercolor. So I posted a video, which funnily was not about watercolor but about gouache. What that means is that I had hit rock bottom. Not only did I now have a collection of watercolor tubes gathering dust, I had started purchasing gouache. Something needed to get done. I needed to start painting more than once a month when I could be bothered to stop researching the medium I was supposed to be practicing. Posting videos was my way to pressure myself into actually painting. Eventually, I had to progress, get better, hold myself accountable. Strangers were watching. I posted a few videos and judged myself harshly. Hopefully critically, but mostly I was harsh on myself. So my videos changed. I started a series on myth because I always loved them and I enjoyed telling the stories. The paintings themselves, however, I then went through a phase where I was basically just flinging paint at paper, which actually coincided with me starting to use 100% cotton paper, in my case, mostly Arches and Fabriano. I was finally enjoying myself. I finally understood how layers could add depth, how letting color flow gave it that ethereal quality I admired in everyone else's work. I finally got it. At that point, my main issue was I still shied away from drawing. I will be the first to admit I have little visual imagination. I need references. I had none. I'd scoured the internet for pictures I could use as a basis for my paintings, but I did not have a subject I enjoyed or inspired me. So I decided I was going to get reference materials. I took my dad's DSLR, got myself an annual subscription to the Montreal Botanical Garden, and went nuts taking loads of pictures. That was last summer, and when October 2017 came, I was at the Botanical Garden every weekend making sure I had enough material to fill out my moleskin sketchbook. It was not about drawing or painting final pieces. It was about sketching, about interpreting quickly in ink and watercolor a subject. I moved away from YouTube videos and moved to posting on Instagram. It was easier, immediate, and no need for editing. After October, I continued with botanical subjects. I painted wreath on Christmas cards. I have drawers filled with small botanical drawings and paintings. This spring, I took a sketching class given at the Botanical Gardens. I've always wanted to do plein air and urban sketching, but shied away. That class given outside forced me to wake up early every Sunday and get over my fear of strangers judging my work while I sat painting. Admittedly, strangers have very nice comments. Now, I have a plein air setup. I've gotten better. I'm still working on it very hard, and I'm still improving. All of this to say, I want to continue posting videos. I want to continue telling you stories. If my main goal was the number of views, I would be unboxing, hauling, and reviewing in all my postings. As much as I indulge watching those types of videos, I don't enjoy filming them. So don't expect I will be posting many of those in the future. Ultimately, the videos I enjoy making the most are my Myth and Watercolor series. However, I am debating the format going forward because the paint subject may need to differ from the stories I tell. After all, I'm still painting a lot of florals. I also enjoyed writing this voiceover, which is much more personal than any others I've done. What do you think? Share your comments. I'm curious. Tell me how you started with watercolors, what other artistic mediums you've practiced and enjoyed. Do you do plein air or urban sketching? I know I've been gone from YouTube for almost a year, but you can see me posting regularly on Instagram, so you can follow me there. I don't expect I will hold myself to a regular schedule on YouTube, but I like to post maybe once a month. Any requests? Any stories you want to hear? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. A special thanks to all my subscribers who stuck by me through this almost year-long drought. Until next time, this is Glenda V. Garcia telling you, you are awesome. Ciao!